Linda almost lived vicariously through Brooke and was trying to achieve things that Linda could never achieve through Brooke.
Man, that sucks, man.
Oh, it was bad.
The vicarious, I just don't know. I don't know why so many people catch that, living vicariously bug.
It was uncomfortable, Seth, when we would go to dinner and she would start, and she never got on Nick. She always got on Brooke. And she would call Brooke the C word. You dirty C. And then commenced to pulling her hair or scratching her or kicking her in the shin. And Brooke would go off crying to her bedroom, and Hogan would then try to go up and, tell her it was going to be okay. And, but that's your mom. You're 13, 14 years old. Dan, you've just past that plateau. And, what if you and your wife were telling these things to your daughter? How traumatic would that be? You and your family go out to dinner and your wife or you or somebody starts calling Sophia names. And then when you get out of the car back at the carriage house, and I'm not alleging any of this happens. I'm saying how bad it would be for Sophia's psyche. One of her two parents starts kicking her in the shin enough to draw blood and telling her how stupid and how just, worthless she is. My Lord, do you know how hard it is for a child to be able to wrap their head around what's happening? Like, what's happening to me? We have so many things to be thankful for. Linda was the only person that wasn't thankful. Her and Nick were the only two that kind of expected the life that Terry provided for them.
I sent you pictures from when she was younger with like Linda and stuff.
Yeah.
Messenger.
Okay, perfect. Let me see them. There we go.
There's one above it too. Yeah.
Let me see. Ugh. And then that one. There we go. So, here's a picture of. Brooke's probably 15 at that time. Brooke's probably 15. She looks very young in the face. And you got your mom who is telling you that you're ugly and that you're unsuccessful and that you need to, stop eating that dessert after dinner because you're a fat ass and you're worthless and you're no good. Look there. This is probably during the heydays of Hogan Knows Best.
Yeah.
Brooke at that point's probably 16, maybe 17. She
looks well kept.
She's a very attractive girl. And there's Nick all, whatever, all wiggered out, just whatever. He was Linda's, and to this day, he's still Linda's little bitch boy. But, I watched Brooke struggle with loving her mother. Her mother was so mean to her. I never had a daughter. I had a son. And her mother was so mean to her that it was
uncomfortable.
It was child abuse. I saw Linda put her hands or kick or pull Brooke's hair no less than a half a dozen times in a very, very, very abusive type way that made me uncomfortable. That literally made me uncomfortable. And then she would, and here's the thing. If Brooke really wanted to, Brooke would have whipped her ass.
Oh, yeah.
Brooke, we'd be down there pushing. Brooke is strong. Brooke was a big, I don't want to say big girl because but she was a very tall, lean, in shape. Like she was put together. If she hadn't been,
she was an athlete.
Yeah, she would have been a hell of a. If she would have gone with girls basketball, she was 5'11". Brooke was 5'11".
Oh, wow.
Or Brooke is 5'11". Had girls basketball, Dan, been as prominent back when she was growing up as it is now, man, some, Florida or Florida State or somebody would have snatched her up, and had she started, playing basketball at a young age, she would have been a Division I basketball player by far.
She certainly had the physical qualities for it.
Oh, my God.
And she had a work ethic, too.
Oh,
she
my
worked
God.
hard.
Nobody could
Just like
outwork
you
her.
said, Bubba. She worked hard, whereas the other one was lazy.
Right. Nobody could outwork her. And
Right.
Linda's lucky that Brooke had the constraint, and and Brooke was always like, as I recall, always like just befuddled as to, Mom, stop. Mom, like, thank God Brooke was as tall and in shape as she was, because she could fend off most of Linda's attacks. But if Brooke was like this 5'6", standard dainty little chick, she would have gotten her ass kicked way more than she did. She got her ass kicked half as much just based on the fact that she was physically superior to Linda. Linda wasn't. Linda was soft and bitchy. Hogan used to call her sexy thick. So I'd be like, are we training today? And he goes, I don't know, sexy thick's on a rampage right now.
Well, I did send it's Hogan's Instagram. It's not a good look, I don't think. He's kind of getting heating on it.
This is what we didn't hear. We didn't hear her put over Nick. Oh. And this is always, from the time I've been around the family, Nick's always been her favorite. And all Nick is an opportunist. He's jumped from Linda to Terry to Linda. When Linda went out to L.A., Nick moved to L.A. so he could suck off whatever alimony she got. And then when that dried up, he moved back to Tampa so he could manage his dad's karaoke bar / Hogan's Hangout. And I have zero respect for Nick Hogan.
Didn't he leave after he paralyzed Graziano?
Yeah, to go to L.A. to be with Linda, because Linda had just gotten the big payday at that point.
I really just think for his life, I think it would have been smart just to get out of this city.
And then he went to Vegas for a while and tried to do a residency DJ kind of deal. That didn't work. And then his last attempt was to come back, befriend Terry, and manage Hogan's Hangout and be there, for the financial windfall as well.
Okay, so I'm just home by myself today. Again, as usual. I'm okay with most things, but today something hit. I don't know what hit, but I look terrible because I've been crying. And yesterday I went to try to go have Botox and shit, and they bruised me I don't know.
So, Dan, when you do Botox, are you doing it down? Are you doing it down by the laugh wrinkles to maybe smooth out a little bit? And do you what would cause the bruising? Just not properly applied?
Sometimes bruising can happen in the absence of anything wrong. She probably had Botox and filler, because there's not a lot of I wouldn't do a lot of Botox there. She may have had some filler there. But, again, filler and Botox isn't going to, the filler doesn't fix ugly.
Right. Or drunkenness.
Here we
go.
It's been 15 or longer years since I got left Hulk Hogan. And
Really?
my family is in the worst mess. Brooke doesn't talk to us. She's had twins. She got married. She didn't tell us. She had twins. She didn't tell us.
Not true.
Would she invite her and she didn't go?
No.
How'd that happen?
But she invited Hogan to walk her down the aisle, and you know what Hogan said? I don't do weddings anymore. And made the poor girl her father.
Come on.
I'm not lying. Her father. She asked her father. She lived in Nashville at the time. She relocated to Orlando. Her husband's a former hockey player. And she's established 2 interior design companies and is doing quite well. And when she married this guy, she invited Terry. I don't know if she may not. I don't know whether she invited Linda or not, but she did invite Terry. And Hogan said, I don't do weddings or funerals anymore. Sorry. Meanwhile, he's been seen at other weddings and funerals since Brooks.
He's been seen at other funerals.
Yeah, he has. And one time, Brooke asked him to come to a Stevie Nicks concert, and he says, "I don't do concerts anymore either."
He's done like 30 of them.
Meanwhile, he's out, doing the Republican National Convention. He's out.
Is this why he got baptized? Because he was such an a-hole to his own daughter?
Yeah.
He needed to wash that away?
Tell us she had twins. She didn't tell us. She had a huge fight with Terry.
So, again, validating what I heard.
Yep.
I don't know how that reflected onto me, but she cut me out too. I haven't talked to her for 7 years, almost 8 years now.
Well, Linda, the reason why she probably cut you out is because what you put her through as a child. Mm-hmm. And she just can't let go of that, and you'll never change, Linda. You'll never change. You're drunk right now. You blew through all of your money, and Brooke is at a really good spot in her life without all of this drama. She has established herself as a successful businesswoman. She's now a beautiful wife and a beautiful mom of two kids. She had twins, Molly and Oliver. And she is got a husband that loves her.
Fraternal twins, like a boy and a girl?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Molly and Oliver. She's got a husband who supports her and helps her with her business and loves her and protects her. She doesn't need your nonsense. She doesn't need Hogan's nonsense. She doesn't want any of it. No, but listen to what she says to Nick. Because when I was growing up with this family, and we would go to dinner and we would go to family vacations, Linda always favored Nick, and he was the biggest little spoiled brat. Brooke was never came across as a spoiled little brat, ever. Always respectful, always kind. Nick was that spoiled little gimme brat.
Did she make him do like back rubs on her and stuff with baby oil?
No, nothing like that. But Nick never did any wrong. While Brooke would be getting her ass kicked or her hair pulled or being told that she was a fat ass and she needed to not eat that dessert and kicked in the shin and hit in the face, Nick was allowed to come and go as he wanted to. He was perfect. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, well, he got his mom's neckline.
And God bless Nick. He's still such a good boy. And God bless Nick. He's still such a good boy.
Why is he such a good boy? Because he continues to play you and your husband. He plays to who's got the better deal.
Don't you love when families fight on social media?
It's never. It
doesn't translate well.
I know Linda thinks that if I go public, then maybe I can get somebody to talk to me because it's going to cause such a stir. But it only makes things a million times worse.
And the only person that looks good here is the person that's staying out of the fray. Brooke.
Yeah.
Brooke, who her husband has said a few things, sticking up for his wife, because now Linda's alleging that Brooke was drunk and Brooke did. I never have seen Brooke Hogan take a drink of alcohol in my life. And I even hung out with them as she got to be 17, 18, 19, 20, and they moved to Miami. Now, and all too often, let's just break this down but all too often, when you're guilty of something, don't you start projecting that on your significant other because you're the one that's guilty on doing it?
It looks like
Psychic 101 states that when you're projecting upon a loved one, you're doing what you're projecting them to do.
It looks like what her husband said, too, about the concert thing is that she offered to buy tickets and go with her mom to the Stevie Nicks concert, which was Linda's favorite artist. And I guess Linda said, I already saw Stevie Nicks and I don't do concerts anymore.
What the hell?
Now, are you sure? Are you sure? Now, are you sure are you sure that's directed to Linda and not Terry?
No, it's to her.
Well, Terry's the one that refused to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah, she said, I don't do concerts anymore, and I've already seen Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like I can't. I'm not. I'm not the father that Hulk Hogan is, but I feel like you're supposed to love your daughter, and that's one of the things about when you have your daughter is that you walk her down the aisle if you're able to. I don't. Where did Hogan, not get that email to his AOL account? That you're supposed to.
His only daughter.
Yeah.
who really has caused him zero pain. Brooke has cost him. She didn't go to jail. She didn't nearly kill somebody. She's never asked for any money.
In fact, it was because of her that stupid reality show got traction, because Nick wasn't interesting.
No.
She resurrected Hogan's career. She's the
At
one.
that time, she did.
She sure did, because he was useless. He was a zero, and that show took off because she was interesting. Because she was hot.
Because she
had
was
something going
16,
on.
17, and hot.
I had something. Had something going on.
And
he had
dudes
nothing.
would want to watch that.
Yep, because no one was watching for Nick, and Hogan had nothing going on in his life. He was a complete zero at the time.
And that's why Brooke got a show after it. Brooke knows best.
Yeah, Brooke
Right,
knows
exactly,
best.
because
Right.
she was the star.
Now, the Hulk Hogan Instagram simply posted this, which is kind of funny. As Linda is having a full-blown meltdown, the Instagram on Hogan, there is no sound to it. They posted this, and it's very well photoshopped or AI'd, but it shows Hogan and his new wife Sky eating popcorn, listening to Linda rant on and on. I can't play the audio of it because there is none, but the meme in itself is pretty funny. This is from Brooke's husband, Steven, who has also reached out to the show, and I'm in full disclosure, thanked the show for sticking up for his wife. He reached out to the show and said Brooke heard Bubba and his recollection of how all this went down when he was part of the family, so to speak. And she very much appreciates Bubba being honest and truthful. And it seems as though Bubba is the only one that has it right.
Well, that's not going to make the Hulkster happy.
Well, I mean, I don't think that. I think Brooke's most mad at Hogan because he's turned his back on her, and he's now got the new shiny object. What happens to be his, what is she, 35?
45 now.
Her is 40.
Yeah.
What's he, 70?
That's a great question.
How do you push out your daughter just because you got a new lady?
Hogan.
He's 71.
He's 71. She's 45.
Can you not multitask with relationships?
I don't know. And so she's most mad at him completely turning his back on her and her husband, and now her new family of two babies, Oliver and Molly. And so I'm going to pick up. Her husband is kind of been her spokesperson through this whole ordeal. She wants nothing to do with this. Linda started all this by her, absolutely insane video that I have more of, that Linda has since responded to Steve's Instagram, and here's a portion of Steve's Instagram. As for the idea that we married without anybody knowing, that was never our intention. Again, this comes from Brooke's husband. Unfortunately, it was the only viable option when another party involved said, I don't do weddings or funerals anymore, which is perplexing considering the same person has attended multiple weddings since then and even had a wedding of their own.
Well, that says who it is.
Well, exactly.
It's pretty clear.
And the other weddings would have been Nick and a couple others.
What if it wasn't Hulk
His
Hogan?
own.
What if it wasn't Hulk Hogan that snubbed Brooke? What if it was Terry Bollea?
Well,
I think that's the question.
In fact, Brooke is not talking to Hulk Hogan. She is talking to Terry Bollea. That's her dad. That's her dad. For those who still may have doubts about my wife's true character, that individual was reportedly told me that my wife does not have one bad bone in her body, and I feel it's important to share a story that highlights who she is at her core. Let me stop by saying I can reiterate and validate that in its absolute wholest. I mean, I have never known Brooke to have a bad, mean-spirited bone in her body. I spent a lot of time with Brooke when they were growing up. And I saw that Nick was a little spoiled brat, and that Brooke was that beautiful swan that didn't cause any problems. But Linda, you know what? Deep down, in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, And I can have an opinion on this situation, Jay, because I experienced, I went on probably 20 family vacations, went on 200 family dinners, was at their house, 5 out of the 7 days a week. Here's my true opinion. Linda was jealous of Brooke. Brooke was everything Linda wanted to be, less married to Terry. Linda was just jealous that Brooke was prettier, that Brooke was more talented. Linda couldn't play the piano or the guitar or sing or dance. The only thing Linda could do was dig. She had a John Deere 386 gold digging excavator, and that bitch could run. And that bitch could run that. She had the biggest John Deere excavator, and I will tell you, man, she was a heavy equipment operator when it came to digging for gold. My Lord, yes. You know what? There is one thing, Linda, that you beat Brooke at, and that's digging for gold. Because Brooke went out and did everything that she's accomplished on her own with no help. You were jealous of her. We offered tickets to cover. Now, see, Lummy, this is why I think this is Hogan.
I gotcha.
We offered tickets to cover the cost of concert tickets and any expenses necessary to ensure a comfortable experience for this individual at a Stevie Nicks concert, because attending a Stevie Nicks concert with this individual was on my wife's bucket list. The response was, I've already seen Stevie Nicks and I don't do concerts anymore, which again was confusing given that person has since attended numerous concerts, sporting events, and comedy shows. Despite this, my wife, staying true to her nature, chose to overlook the inconsistency to move forward. Now, Lummy, who have we seen at various concerts, various sporting events? Who have we seen? We haven't seen Linda at any of those.
Hulk Hogan.
But we've seen Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
So that's why she's talking about her dad at this point. However, as her husband, I witnessed her emotional toll as each of these interactions wore her down to the point that she would change the radio station anytime her favorite artist, Stevie Nicks, came on the radio. One of the most heartbreaking moments occurred when she renovated and designed a home for this individual purely out of kindness for free with no expectation for anything in return. Now, Hogan just bought a new place on Mandalay Avenue in St. Pete after him and Jennifer broke up. Oh. Now, I know that to be true. All she asked for, and so now Brooke is an interior designer. She has her company's base. She has 2 branches of her company, one in Nashville, one in Orlando. And her only ask, or what she was going to charge her father to renovate this new home that he just bought, was to be able, now he has right where he's located, probably some of the most beautiful sunsets in the world, right there on the western tip of Mandalay Bay.
Was it the one that I saw?
It's yes.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
All she asked for was a simple request to watch the sunset together.
A sunset. One freaking sunset.
One.
A sunset.
Could you imagine living like this?
Her gesture was met with a cold shoulder, and the individual walked away, leaving her behind to watch the sunset alone. My wife, understanding the value of time and love over anything material, made a final and resolute decision. She asked to be removed from all future financial involvements, requesting her release from documents that had her in a substantial fiduciary and financial position once certain events transpired. She said to me, if I can't have honesty and time with them, then I don't want anything. So, Jay, that's my understanding, that he's saying she has told her dad, write me out of your will. I don't want anything to do with it.
And I'm not going to be the executor of your estate.
Right.
Looks like from the context of that, looks like she was going to be the executor of the estate because she says, I don't want to take care of all this.
Captain Creamsicle, $100.
That's brutal. I can't even imagine saying any of those things to my children.
You have a daughter.
I do.
Can you imagine your daughter eating dinner with you, Candle, Trey, and yourself, you're at like, let's say Charlie's or some fancy steak joint that we would go to, and your what's your daughter's name? Paige? Sage. She and Candle would be rating her if once she got dessert, calling her a fat ass. And when you guys got back home to your house and you all got out of the car, Candle kicked her in the knees and shins and pulled her hair and started a fight with her and told her she would never amount to anything.
Divorce and seek custody.
Candle might get her ass beat.
I mean, I can't even imagine. To watch someone abuse a child would be beyond my abilities. I couldn't do it.
Many may not fully understand, but I have now see, and here's the thing. I can wrap my head around all of this because I'm probably next to Steve. I don't know how much Steve saw. That's her husband. He didn't see any of what I saw when she was like, let's say, ages 11 through 17. Mm-hmm. I saw all of that. He's only seen post-adult.
He's living the ramifications of those years.
Yes.
You watched when she was being reared.
I watched while this was happening.
Yeah, you saw the aftermath. He saw the aftermath. You witnessed the actual sins.
Many may not fully understand this, but I have had the privilege of witnessing my wife go from humbling herself to wait on tables, passing her Florida real estate exam, obtaining her health and nutritional certificate, all the way to building one of the most successful interior design firms in Nashville entirely on her own from the ground up and with any guidance or financial backing.
God bless her.
She built a business that has allowed her team to leave their 9-to-5 jobs, has enabled her to be able to work alongside her best friend for 30 years and has provided a service that generates revenue for clients and creates lasting experiences for those who stay in their properties she and her team pour their hearts and souls into. Let's not overlook that while building a business, she was not a finger pointer. She was the one carrying the beds, the dressers, the TVs, and more up 4 flights of stairs, hundreds of thousands of times for every job. She gives everything that she has and everything that she does, often leaving her own cup empty. Her actions are never driven by financial gain or a desire for others to fill her cup, but rather by her relentless commitment to doing the right thing for the right reasons. She is the truest, most genuine person many have ever met and loves hard almost to a fault. When you love so hard, the more it hurts. But please know that every message of support has been deeply appreciated by both of us, and we are incredibly grateful to everybody we all know from all these blah, 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 blah.
What a great guy. He didn't say the name of her business.
Nope.
He didn't say the name of Hogan, either one of them. He said nothing, articulately, perfectly written from the heart. That dude's a stud.
And so is she. And this is a guy that's sticking up for his wife because her mother is bat crazy and started this big rant on the weekend, making a complete ass out of herself. Now it's TMZ's all over it.
Everyone's on
What
it.
a thoughtful response.
So after his response, Jay, that one that you just saw, that was so eloquently done.
100%.
Just, and here's the deal. So accurate.
And he didn't accuse anything. He just basically said, she's a wonderful person. There's people in her life that's done these things. He could have blasted everybody. He's probably got hundreds of thousands of people following him on social media. And now that TMZ's all over it, he could have said whatever he wanted. And he said it with dignity and respect to his wife. And he built her up and didn't do anything to bring down anybody else.
So anyway, Linda, after Stephen, Brooke's husband, writes, basically a response to Linda's meltdown. Now Linda, first of all, Linda should have just sit down and shut up and take it because it'll be over. Steve said what he needed to do to protect his family and protect his wife. Let's not forget, this just isn't Steve spouting off. He is defending his wife and now his 2 children. He has a family of 3, and as a real man, he finds it necessary to to address these allegations.
I respect that.
Linda comes and says this. And again, I saw it all. So I am virtually one of the reasons why I got called into to get deposed during the divorce is because I was an expert opinion. I mean, I was one of the only persons that were privy. I went on 15 family vacations with them.
You're a material witness.
Yeah, I mean, I was the witness. They tried to bring in the hairdresser, and they tried to bring in the guy who did the lawn, and they tried to bring in the woman who took care of the house. But I was the guy that went on 15 family vacation. I was the guy that was over there 5 days a week working out and seeing all this. I was the guy, that when Hogan we would go to L.A. and one time Brooke had to get back to town to do something event related, and I flew. I was Brooke's guardian. That's when I taught her how to sign her autograph with a big B. But I knew it all. And I saw it all. And that's why I was called as the expert witness during their divorce, of which I have taped, and I'm going to bring that out tomorrow. TMZ, you want to see something? You want to see something? I'll bring it to you.
What are we going to see?
We're going to see them ask me,
Oh,
Mr. Clem, yeah, did you single-handedly witness any abuse that at all? Whether it be Terry abusing the children or whether it be Linda abusing, what type of abuse did you see? And I just said it. I saw Linda call Brooke fat and the C word, slap her across the face probably 4 or 5 times, kick her in the legs, just belittle her, pull her hair. Well, what caused all this? Nothing. What do you mean? Well, Brooke didn't seem to do anything. Brooke didn't spill her glass of Coca-Cola at the table during dinner. She wasn't talking back and being disrespectful. She was just being a kid. And that got her ass beat more than people would know. Uncomfortably more than people would know. So here's Linda right here. This is her big response to Stephen, Brooke's husband's response. Seems narcissism runs deep in this family. Brooke is a narcissist just like her dad, going out spewing lies to everyone. And I'm supposed to defend my truth. And I'm supposed to defend my truth against that? I'm not about to do that. It seems to me that she doesn't want the truth being revealed to her new husband and his family about who she was and the things in her past. You know what? She's not hiding anything. There's nothing that Brooke did that would be considered something you wouldn't want your husband to know.
Did Brooke respond, or was it just her husband?
I don't think there's been a response since this.
That's what I'm saying is, did she actually respond at all, or has it all been through him?
I think it's all been through him.
Okay, so she's attacking Brooke for something her husband defended her on. What a piece of shiz.
I think I spanked Brooke once. Yeah, I called. See, again, Dan, this is validating what I saw. Mm-hmm. I think I spanked Brooke once. Yeah, and I called her a couple of names. By all means, never treated her the way she's painting it. Well, you know what, Linda? It's not Brooke painting it that way. It's a third party that has nothing to do with this family. That's my opinion. That's why you canceled my 4-hour deposition after 40 minutes. Brooke didn't say any of this. I did. They had cell phones. She could have posted horrible things about me when all of this was supposedly happening, but nothing she didn't. No, she couldn't. You had her cooped up in her little room up there, and you monitored everything that they did. Had she posted something, you don't think you would have walked?
And back then, was it MySpace she's going to post it on?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what do you have to post it on?
Yeah. But nothing she did. I'm sorry, but nothing she didn't, because nothing was happening. But when she took her dad's side after the divorce and wrote the Wonderful Mom song and went to all the tabloids because Terry was using her as a tool, her memory is now completely skewed. And the treatment that she's received growing up in our home, and you can talk to anyone, you can ask anyone, you can ask Terry, that none of that stuff ever happened. Nobody, Linda, I was sworn. When you're deposed, you are sworn to tell the truth under the penalty of perjury.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
And you canceled my deposition after 40 minutes when we started getting into what I saw. So if you can, if anybody wants to start asking anybody, you know what? Ask Sean Morrison. Ask him and his wife what they saw. Ask Brian Knobs what he saw. Ask, you know what? A very credible source. The guy that used to own Outback, Buck, what was his name?
Bob Basham.
Bob Basham, who was your next door neighbor. Ask Bob Basham what he saw.
I'd heard, I'm sure.
Yeah.
At night. The
Yeah.
screams. It's like Silence of the Lambs. I can't wait to hear the good. Was it Good Mom song? It's a Wonderful Mom song.
Dear Mom.
Dear Mom. What's the
Dear
song
Mom?
she wrote? She wrote a mom song.
Yeah, we played it. We played
Friday.
it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I missed it.
It's her angle to keep her family away from her now, revealing who she used to be after drinking a half a bottle of vodka. She was so drunk she broke my collarbone. By the way, this is Linda saying, I never saw Brooke take a drink of alcohol in my life. Now, she may later on as an adult, you know, taken some drinks. I wasn't with her during that part. But I stayed in touch with Terry all of those years and never heard of a broken collarbone incident. And then here's the deal, Linda. You're lucky, and if you did get a broken collarbone, it's because Brooke was finally over you berating her, and she was an adult, and she's like, "Bitch, go ahead and knuckle up. Let's go." Because I'm over it. You, for 10 years, beat the hell out of me, and I'm a grown woman. I'm 5'11", and I'm a badass, and I'm going to whip your ass. There comes a point where your kid can fight back, and in some instances, whip your ass.
I'm not fighting Trey now.
It's hard to break a collarbone. You gotta get like thrown on the ground pretty hard. You don't just break collarbones with a strike. It's pretty unusual. And we would have heard about this. Wouldn't we have heard about a broken collarbone on Linda Hogan?
Exactly.
I mean, don't you think that would have been like international news?
So then Linda,
her daughter beat her up and broke her collarbone.
In full Linda / Hogan fashion, here's where they always end up. You ready? But I'm not going to defend myself against these allegations, ridiculous allegations. Here comes the Hogan. You ready?
Oh, boy.
I'll do that in court if she keeps it up. You guys can't get to court fast enough because you know what? Brooke's got some really, really good people that have her back and will tell the truth.
And you could testify, right?
Yeah. I'm actually getting a hold of the documentary guys because they used a portion of my deposition in the documentary. I'm trying to get the entire videotape of it, and I want to play the part where they asked me under oath what child abuse I saw.
Wearing Oakleys, right?
Wearing Oakleys. Yeah.
Prescription Oakleys.
Prescription Oakleys. I think you were my attorney.
I wasn't in that one, but I was in many.
Yeah. Wearing prescription Oakleys. Saying, yeah, I'll tell you what I tell you. So, Linda, guess what? You can't bring this to court fast enough, you drunk bitch.